What's going on, YouTube? Welcome into the new year. Happy New Year's, officially 2026. And I want to start making more content this year, mainly because I want to start the year off better than how I ended last year. So, with that being said, this is going to be my first video of 2026, and it's an interesting one because I have a lot to talk about, mainly with the NFL and how they do their awards. So, let me get into it real quick. I don't like how the NFL does their MVP or rookie awards. What do I mean by this? Well, let's look at the rookie awards, for example. Starting off, Offensive Rookie of the Year, the one I'm primarily going to be going over, and how this year the award's probably going to go to someone that doesn't deserve it as much as other players do. What do I mean by this? Well, there's probably five names in the bunch for Offensive Rookie of the Year, being Cam Ward, Tennessee Titans quarterback, number one overall pick. Jackson Dart, New York Giants rookie quarterback, first round pick. Started the season late, not late, but had less games than Cam Ward. You have Tyler Shuck, quarterback of the Saints, second round pick. And then you have two wide receivers, Emeka Egbuka and Tetairoa McMillan, both first round receivers for the NFC South's Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Carolina Panthers. Honestly, stat wise, the season hasn't been crazy for these players. Tyler Shuck was not the starter going into the year, and despite that, he's honestly been surprisingly good for the Saints team. They're still a bad team, but weirdly enough, he's been one of their best rookie quarterbacks in franchise history. As weird as that sounds, because I would have never thought a player like Tyler Shuck would be successful. All respect to him, he's proving me wrong. And then you look at Cam Ward, went into the season as the starting quarterback, got his head, not, he didn't do it, but his head coach ended up getting fired in Brian Callahan. And it's just been a roller coaster for Cam Ward, because sometimes you'll see plays where it looks like he's honestly not playing like how we seen him in Miami. And then there's some plays where you just think he's throwing some of the greatest footballs we've ever seen. Some of his passes are just like insane how he pulls them off. So it's weird to evaluate him. It's weird to evaluate Tyler Shuck, and it's even more weird to evaluate Jackson Dart, someone who has, the Giants have 2 wins on the season right now, I believe, being against, one of them against the Chargers and Eagles, which are 2 of the most random teams to have wins against if you're a team like the Giants. But Jackson Dart was the quarterback for both of them. But the thing about him, he's been injured a few times, mainly because he doesn't know how to protect himself. He likes taking big hits. Respect to him for playing the game, but also you're being costly to your team. But honestly, he's been amazing too. He's definitely what New York has needed, mainly because Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston weren't necessarily your best options for the future of your team at this point of their careers. So Jackson Dart is definitely a step in the right direction for them. But again, nothing impressive. None of these 3 quarterbacks have been spectacular. They've been good for their standards, but lackluster in general. And it just feels weird to want to call those 3 quarterbacks potential Rookie of the Years. And then to bring up the receivers, Tetairoa McMillan and Emeka Egbuka. Starting off with Tetairoa McMillan, great receiver, definitely helpful, but he's on a team that is struggling a lot, and I would say it's safe to assume he's the wide receiver 1 on this team, mainly because the other receivers are either young, inexperienced, or aren't as productive as him. So he's been good, but again, he hasn't been like game breaking for rookie receivers. And then you look at Emeka Egbuka, went into the season looking like the wide receiver 1, mainly because Godwin and Evans have been injured majority of the season. He started off the season hot and has had a slow decline ever since. I think these guys are all great players, but nothing stands out about them. And when we went into the season, I thought for sure a rookie running back was going to win this award. I mean, Ashton Genty is on the worst team in football right now, the Raiders, but his upside was so positive that people could believe he could win Rookie of the Year. You look at Omarion Hampton playing in a system dedicated to the run game with the Chargers and how impactful of a running back he can be, and then he gets injured. And then probably the third most notable name out of all running backs in this rookie class, Cam Scatabo. Okay, wasn't the starter for the season. Tyron Tracy gets injured. Cam Scatabo gets a starting call up. He's amazing. Okay, first few games, he's going off. He is a tackling machine. He wants to make contact with someone. Honestly, very impressive. And then he gets a season-ending injury. So the running backs this year have had all the potential to be great this season, but injuries and lack of usage have cost them to be in the running for this award. So honestly, this year, I went into this year thinking, well, besides the quarterback position, these rookies on offense should be very impressive. And their rookie season hasn't had a standout, okay? But the sad truth is they're probably going to give this award to a quarterback like Shuck, like Cam Ward, like Jackson Dart. If I had to guess who they were going to give it to, they'd probably give it to Cam Ward. That's just the truth. Because if your number one overall pick is in the running for it and he's a quarterback, you'd rather give him the award than the guy that was drafted in the second round and has been just as bad, you know? But if we're being honest, Offensive Rookie of the Year stands for the best offensive rookie of the year. In my opinion, the award should go to an offensive lineman this year. It is absolutely ridiculous to say if we look at how the award is judged. The Offensive Rookie of the Year award is starting to turn into the MVP award, and I'm going to speak on why in a moment, but just simply because they favor the quarterback. If there's a quarterback on the field that is a rookie, they're going to favor it over the running back, over the receiver, and absolutely over an offensive lineman. Same thing with an MVP. The MVP is the quarterback award. Offensive Player of the Year goes to the skill position. And I don't think that's fair. Offensive Rookie of the Year stands for the best rookie on offense of the year. And if we're being honest, the award should go to one of three players. Kelvin Banks, left tackle for the Saints, Armin Membo, left tackle for the Jets, or Will Campbell, left tackle for the New England Patriots. These three tackles, honestly, you could make an argument they are top 15 offensive tackles in the NFL right now. They have been the most productive on their teams. Okay, Will Campbell has done everything to make sure Drake May is protected, and it helps his case that he's got a winning record, and his quarterback's in MVP conversations. Okay, let's look at Armin Membo. Losing record, you're on the Jets, but you are undoubtedly one of the best offensive linemen among all rookies and among all linemen. Then you look at Kelvin Banks, which I don't know enough about offensive lineman stats, but apparently this dude is amazing. Like, apparently this guy is on another level of great, and he's only a rookie. And somehow, someway, this guy's managed to do everything he can to protect two quarterbacks in Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck, who aren't impressive. Okay? I know I hyped up Tyler Shuck earlier, but the Saints rookie quarterbacks, it's a low bar. Remember, Drew Brees was not a rookie for the Saints. Okay? If we're talking rookie quarterbacks, we're talking back to Archie Manning, bro. The bar is really low for them. But I think to myself, and I think, why doesn't a lineman get it? Why is there such favoritism in these awards? A lineman should win Offensive Rookie of the Year, and it should be either Armin Membo, Will Campbell, or Kelvin Banks, because if we're going based off the best offensive rookie, It's a lineman, not a quarterback, not a running back, not a receiver. And this brings me to my final point, the MVP award. Okay? The MVP award is so favoring the quarterback position. It is extremely unfair. So, by the time you're watching this, it is week 17 going into week 18. So, we're on the last week of football in the regular season. Who are our MVP candidates right now? There's only two names. Drake May, quarterback of the Patriots, and Matthew Stafford, quarterback of the Rams. What are their cases? Drake May has had a great quarterback season, okay? Passing yards, touchdowns, he's been very impressive. He's got one of the best records in all of the NFL right now. It only makes sense you give it to him. And mind you, it's only his second year in the league. But why shouldn't he win it? Well, he's had an extremely easy schedule. Okay, let's look at the other candidate, Matthew Stafford. Why should he win it? Has been impressive when it comes to passing yards, when it comes to touchdowns. His two wide receivers lead in receiving stats, which is definitely a compliment towards them, but also gives a good look to the quarterback. Matthew Stafford definitely has an argument to win this. Why shouldn't he win it? Well, these last couple weeks, he's not only lost games, he's put himself out of the running for the number one seed in the NFC and has went from being the number one team in the NFC West to the third. So, honestly, both these quarterbacks, despite their stats, haven't done anything amazing. Okay? I don't know how true this is. I saw something talking about Drake May's record against teams with a winning record right now on the season. I believe he's only beaten one team with a positive record, an above 500 record this season. I can't think of the team at the top of my head. I'll put it on the screen somewhere. But that is the only team the Patriots have played that have a winning record, which is very sad. It really exposes how easy of a schedule they had. Sure, they've capitalized on it, but nothing impressive has come out of this season for the schedule-wise, and you're winning, okay? If you look at the Rams, nothing impressive over there. Just a great team, but starting to lose when it's crucial to win. But why are these two the only names in the running for the award? How come we don't have... Oh no, let's see. Well, earlier in the season, there was multiple names that had an MVP case. Names like Jackson Smith-Njigba, wide receiver of the Seahawks. Why? Well, he was on pace to break Megatron's receiving yards record in a single season. I don't know how far he is off. I think he's around like 250 plus yards. Only 1 week left to achieve that. I think it's extremely unlikely he achieves that. But still an amazing season from him. Let's see, you had Jonathan Taylor when the Colts started like 7-1. Okay, reasonable to want to give him the MVP, mainly because he was the most valuable player on this Colts team outside of Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones gets hurt. The Colts trade for Sauce Gardner. The team goes from 7-1. I believe they're now 8-7, something like that. 8-8. I could be wrong. But they've had a complete fall off compared to how they started the season, and they're eliminated from the postseason. So you can erase Jonathan Taylor's name, Jackson Smith-Njigba. If you don't catch up to Megatron's record, you're just going to be in the Offensive Player of the Year talks, because that's where receivers sadly go. It's clear the MVP award has a bias towards quarterbacks, and there's one name out there right now that I truly believe should be in the MVP conversation. I have bias because he plays for that team right there, the 49ers. Running back Christian McCaffrey. Okay? I truly believe Christian McCaffrey not only deserves to be mentioned in the same conversation as Drake May and Matthew Stafford, I think he should win the award if he gets 1,000 receiving yards on the season. Why? Because this 49ers team has dealt with nothing but injuries. Their two best defensive players, Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, injured, out for the season. They got injured early on in the season, so it was crucial losing those two players. They lost Brock Purdy for multiple games on the season. Mac Jones had to be a starting quarterback. Okay? George Kittle has missed multiple games. Trent Williams was out for like 99% of the entire game against the Chicago Bears. Let's see. Your wide receiver one, Ricky Pearsall, has been injured most of the season. Jawan Jennings has missed games. Brandon Ayuk didn't even play a snap this year. And he's probably not going to play a snap next year because he'll be on a different team. So, on a team who's had the quarterback position injured, the receiving core injured, tight end injured, offensive line injured, and the two best defensive players on their team, who are considered some of the best players at their own positions, injured. Who was one of the only players on this team that stayed healthy throughout the entire year? Christian McCaffrey, someone who is looked at as one of the most injury-prone running backs in the league. Okay? For him to stay healthy shows how impactful he's been on this team, who have only lost 4 games on the season and have a legitimate shot of winning the number 1 seed in the NFC if they beat the Seahawks. Okay? Christian McCaffrey deserves to be in the same conversation as Stafford and Drake May. Why? Well, you can't blame CMC for having an easy schedule on the season when a lot of his roster has been injured and he's had to play through it. Drake May, for the most part, has had a healthy roster and has played easy opponents. Stafford versus CMC for the race of the MVP. Stafford and the Rams have fallen out of contention of the NFC West. Meanwhile, CMC and the 49ers, while injured, have continued their reign of dominance. So, when you put all of these players side by side, I think it's clear that Christian McCaffrey should win not the Offensive Player of the Year, but the MVP. Because if we want to break the narrative that the MVP is a quarterback award, Christian McCaffrey is our best hope. Okay? He has a chance against Seattle to get 1,000 receiving yards on the season. And if he gets 3 more touchdowns, he gets 20 total on the season, which would make him 1,000 rushing yards, 1,000 receiving yards, and 20 total touchdowns. We haven't seen Christian McCaffrey do this since when he was in Carolina. This would make Christian McCaffrey the 4th player in NFL history ever to achieve an 1,000 rushing yard, 1,000 receiving yard season, and he'd be the first player in NFL history to do it twice in a career, once in Carolina, once with the 49ers. I think it's clear that if he can accomplish those stats and win the 1 seed in the NFC, you gotta put this man in the talks for the MVP, and you have to give it to him. He's proven that he is the most valuable player on this team with a roster full of injuries. I think it's important to note that CMC deserves this award just as much as the other 2 guys. And when we look at history, it's not impossible for a running back to win the MVP. We've seen Sean Alexander, Adrian Peterson, LaDainian Tomlinson. I believe all 3 won it post 2000. So from 2000 to 2025, we've only seen 3, I could be wrong on this, 3 non-quarterbacks win the MVP award. And those 3 were running backs. Let's break the narrative of the MVP being a quarterback award, and let's give it to Christian McCaffrey. Because when we look at the stats, he has a chance to be better than Drake May and Matthew Stafford. That's just the truth. I'm hoping CMC can do this, not just because I'm a 49ers fan, but because I want to see someone break the narrative. And CMC right now is the best hope among NFL players that aren't quarterbacks to win this award. So, with that being said, that's my thoughts on the NFL awards and how I think they need to be fixed. Because out of all the offensive rookies, the best ones are linemen. Who's going to win it? A quarterback. The MVP race right now is between 2 quarterbacks who haven't been impressive on the season. Meanwhile, there is a running back who is managing to stay healthy on a team full of injuries and putting up statistics it's rare we come by. So, please, NFL, take into consideration other positions for the big awards. Thank you very much. That's my video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let's start 2026 off the right way. Thank you all.